Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting owlbears.
Getting brave, aren't you?
I'm just trying to get a trophy to join the hunting lodge.
I see you still have your shotgun. Do you even know how to use it?
Yeah, sure. I'm proficient in firearms.
Getting your players involved in your campaign setting can often be a challenge, but we as Dungeon Masters have numerous tools at our disposal to accomplish this. Some of the simplest but most varied tools for this are the unique people and places in your world. To begin my new series on unique location, which I've dubbed A Dot on the Map, I'll be starting with a simple hunting lodge and its members. This lodge functions as both a guild and a faction within the world of Unzerwelt, the setting for my Unfriendly campaign, which I introduced earlier in my campaign catalog video. First, let's take a look at how the lodge began. Many hunters believe that the lodge was the first permanent settlement in the Sentinel Woods, even before the town of Winston was founded, when the selvage frontier was still a dense, untamed wilderness. As hunting and trapping became more prominent professions in the region, the hunters banded together with several leather workers and even a handful of traveling merchants to form the lodge. After Winston was settled, the hunters began providing game for the townsfolk, and later started trading with the dwarves and orcs to the north. It was around this time that a young half-orc named Skinner joined the lodge. But less than a decade ago, a number of hunters noticed that their trapped kills were being poached, and it was soon discovered that the poachers were other members of the lodge. The instigator behind this was Robert Barron, an unscrupulous young hunter looking for an easy life. Barron and his cohorts were banished from the lodge, but maintained their cohesiveness as a group. They continued their illicit practices and soon became known as the Forest Bandits, sometimes called Barron's Bandits after their infamous founder. Skinner is a half-orc archer and bladesman skilled in the ways of the wild, and is the current head of the hunting lodge. Once an outcast of Cruor Den, Skinner realized that he was better suited to stealth and ambush tactics than the displays of brute strength most often employed by the other orcs of his former tribe. Skinner's skills impressed the leader of the lodge, who took the young half-orc under his wing. After the old man's retirement, Skinner was declared the new head. Unfortunately, not everyone agreed with this decision, namely Robert Barron. The split between the hunting lodge and forest bandits occurred during Skinner's tenure as leader of the guild. The cautious half-orc must now find a balance between turning away would-be members who might betray the lodge and swelling their ranks to oppose the lodge's former allies, such as the burden of leadership. Skinner does his best to keep an eye on new members of the lodge to gauge their loyalty. To this end, he often employs his unique animal companion, a jackalope called Bunny. Once an individual or group reaches 10 renown within the guild, Skinner asks them to watch after Bunny for a night. The jackalope then does everything in her power to embarrass or escape from her caretakers. Those who successfully complete the ordeal are praised by Skinner and are offered more dangerous quests from him directly. Two of Skinner's most trusted allies are Chantel and Evelyn, human sisters who are long-standing members of the lodge. Chantel is an avid trapper whose kind-hearted nature can be seen in her constant concern for her fellow lodge members. Evelyn, a more stoic individual, typically accompanies her sister on her wild excursions to gather hides from the woods. Evelyn uses the hides gathered by Chantel and others within the lodge to ply her trade as one of the most skilled leatherworkers in the guild. Another staunch friend and ally of Skinner is the goblin merchant Zane, an oddity within the lodge. Like Skinner, Zane was an outcast of his tribe. After learning of the half-orc's rise to power in the lodge, Zane presented himself to Skinner and offered to aid the guild in any way he could. The guild leader accepted, granting the goblin probationary membership. Yet Zane found little within the lodge that suited his skills, until he saw two hunters arguing over a trade they were attempting to make. Zane examined the wolf pelt offered by one of the hunters and determined its quality, setting a gold piece value, then did the same for the wares of the second hunter. Soon the goblin had standardized bartering within the lodge and was named quartermaster by Skinner, earning him a permanent position within the guild. Those who visit the hunting lodge for supplies will find that it has a good range of hunting, skinning, trapping, and leatherworking supplies for sale. While the hunters do accept coin for purchases, they most often trade for leather and hides to use in their craft, with standard prices set by Quartermaster Zane. Joining the hunting lodge grants a number of benefits and simply requires the applicant to present a trophy kill to the head of the lodge. The kill must be a beast or monstrosity of at least medium size. The trophy, usually the creature's head or pelt, is then displayed in the trophy room of the lodge, granting the applicant 1 renown and membership into the lodge. Uncommon or rare creatures are worth 2 or 3 renown, respectively, and are highly prized by the leadership of the hunting lodge. Additional renown can be earned by completing activities on the lodge quest board. If you use the optional rules for skill and tool training, initiates can receive this training from some of the higher-ranking members of the lodge. Chantel can train PCs in the survival skill, while her sister Evelyn offers training in leatherworkers' tools. Training from either of the sisters costs 100 gold pieces and requires 1 week of downtime. Members of the lodge can also spend the night free of charge and receive a long rest bonus. For the next 24 hours, they get advantage on all survival checks. Hunters are constantly swapping stories of how they tracked down their latest kill or outlasted the dangers within the Sentinel Woods. Such insightful and cautionary tales are less than subtle examples of how to survive in the wild. The hunting lodge isn't an idle location. Skinner and his crew are always busy, and any number of situations could occur when your PCs arrive. Here are some sample adventure hooks you can use to make things more interesting at the lodge. Mending fences. Chantel and Evelyn asked the party to get a message to their brother, Waylon, a former member of the hunting lodge who joined the forest bandits when the two groups split. Bad omens. A half-elf hunter by the name of Nyack recently killed a rare albino wolf and began wearing its pelt as a cloak. However, he has had a string of bad luck ever since and believes he was cursed for slaying the rare beast. He requests the PC's aid in removing the curse, not realizing that he simply became the target of a Fae's practical jokes. Poisoning the well. Seeking to gain control of the lodge, a squad of bandits begins poisoning their drinking supply. Several members of the lodge fall gravely ill, with others growing weaker by the day. Skinner, who is also affected, begs the party to save the hunters and find the source of the illness. That does it for this episode. If your D&D party includes some nature types, consider adding this hunting lodge to your setting to give them more wilderness-based opportunities and adventures. Until next time, I'm David Watches.
And I'm Nepal Mandiath.
And thanks for watching. Special thanks to my longtime friend Bill Batchelor for creating the logo for this channel, and to Dylan Smith for the character art used in this and other videos. I couldn't have done it without them.
For more D&D tips, check out these hot videos.